I'm Renee Williams.
And I'm Billy Thomas.
And welcome to another edition of From the Woods Today. You know, Billy, we do a lot of topics on From the Woods Today, but there is always one key thing, and it has to revolve around some kind of forestry, something or other, whether that be wildlife or trees or degrees or what have you. And, you know, that starts with earning your degree for a lot of these professions, which also includes you. I mean, you've earned
Yes. Yeah, I'm a product of this department here, the Department of Forestry. I got my undergraduate in forestry from here at UK. And today we've got Dr. Laura Lockta with us. She's our academic coordinator. And I get to, not only does she teach classes and help all of her students get connected, but she does so many other things to keep this operation running, a lot of times behind the scenes. So we're delighted to have Dr. Lockta. She'll be joining us in a second. We're talking about our undergraduate program here, right? How do we train these foresters? How do we get them up and ready so that they can be servants to society? And they really are. So I'm excited to have Dr. Lockta on in a minute. We also have Dr. Ellen Crocker and Casey Bradley from KSU, Kentucky State University. They're going to be talking about a habitat management workshop they've got coming up. So we'll be learning about that. And so it'll be a great opportunity if you're a natural resource professional or somebody wants to learn about kind of building habitat, you know, for whatever. This will be a great opportunity for you all. So really excited to have you all with us. If you all have any questions for our presenters today, you can use the chat function, or if you're on YouTube, you can hit us up on email at forestry.extension@uky.edu, and we can respond that way. But Renee, I'm glad to be with you and glad to get this show rolling today.
Definitely. So let's go ahead and get started. Dr. Lockta, if you'd like to turn your camera on. Welcome to the show. We greatly appreciate you joining us.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me today.
Yeah, that's
so
great.
Tell us a little bit about what you're going to be talking about.
Yep. So I'm going to share my screen real quick and just give you some information on our Bachelor of Science in Forestry program before we get started. And I'm going to show you a video on that. So whether you're a natural resource professional, an educator, or woodland owner, you likely interact with people that love the woods. And if you're looking for a career outdoors or know somebody that is interested in a career outdoors, then this presentation is for you. And we're going to start the presentation off today with a video of our Forestry Springfield Semester. And just to kind of introduce that video, our forestry classes, they're designed to give students this hands-on field experience using the latest technologies when learning about land management principles and practices. And this all happens during their junior year. So in the spring semester of their junior year, they take a 14-week hands-on program, mostly consisting of outdoor field work. And the first half of the field semester is spent traveling throughout the region to learn about different ecosystems, land uses, management techniques, and land ownership types, as well as traveling to some of the wood industry facilities. And then at the second half of the Springfield semester, our students live at UK's Robinson Forest. So they have a 15,000 acre classroom right at their cabin doorstep for that. And so by focusing on these experiences outside of the classroom, our forestry program really gives students the chance to succeed in the forestry profession. So we'll go ahead and take a look at the video of our students from this past spring.
Let me just think about this for a second.
It's just fun to, see them overcome some challenges and get through it.
Okay, go.
This is called our Springfield Semester, and this is what all of the juniors in the forestry program take. They have 13 credit hours. They'll do a week of forest health, a week of soils, 2 weeks of wildlife. They do 2 weeks of measurements and 3 weeks of silviculture, and I think 3 weeks of forest operations. So they kind of go week by week and really in depth into each of the topics that they're doing. For that. And today we're just kicking off the semester, kind of doing some team building exercises and leadership training.
Now with that, a leap of faith.
So this is a challenge course. I think a lot of it is working through problems as teamwork and kind of bonding with the people that we're going to be with in spring semester, because we'll be together for a long time.
We've done a roped course challenge, and then we've also been trying to get from one platform to the next, and it's all about communication and just how we flow well together. And like we've all gotten to know each other a little bit more just through communication and like being out here together. So
to get everybody warmed up right here and do this and put everybody in an unfamiliar environment and get them through like the stresses now and get them over that awkward hump, the forming part now, before you actually get out into the field and you're expected to perform, I think is probably the best thing they could have done.
I like to get to see the students outside of class. I've had them in a couple classes already, and seeing them in the classroom, sitting at the desk, they're all kind of quiet. But out here, that they just have a lot of fun together, and so it's a good way to see them problem solve and really interact with each other in a kind of fun, casual way.
Doing great, bud.
I like doing it, and I'm happy that we're doing it on the second day of the semester.
Getting about 28.5 inches.
Aim it for the transponder. It has a little red crosshair. You hit the button and it tells you the height is 44.8 feet. Always have the first week be a crash course or review in a lot of the field skills that they need to know for our field semester. So we go through a lot of the different skills that they may need to learn. Today we're looking at how to measure characteristics of individual trees, heights and diameters and log heights using different instruments. So we are trying to get them all up to speed and refreshed on these basic skills so we can cover more advanced topics in the remainder of the semester.
So let's measure a distance of 66 feet. I'm gonna hold this out in front of me. For the merchantable height, I'm getting about 2.5 16-foot logs.
It's the principle of how far it is away, and then it's an offset of the view angle.
It's definitely nice to have the refresher course because after a couple months, you can get a little rusty, so it's nice to kind of shake the rust off and get back.
This really brings the class together. There isn't any graded components or tests. This is all about experiential learning this week and trying to get them warmed up for the rest of the semester.
Yeah, a little bit off on that one. So I think it's wider on this side.
All right, everyone's ready? Just keep your eyes open.
Let's go. Who's gonna find the first Laricobius osacensis?
All right, the competition is on.
We're getting some hands-on experience monitoring for both Hemlock woolly adelgid, which is a major threat to hemlocks, an important tree in our state, but also a predatory beetle that's been released to try to control that invasive insect.
It's not looking great for the hemlocks.
So what we're looking for today is one of those predatory beetles that has been introduced here to try to combat this invasive insect that's hurting our hemlocks.
You got one? I'm coming.
So as you can see, there's a lot of good networking happening with the different professionals who are here, as well as the students. So a good opportunity to learn, get some ideas about whether this is a career they're interested in going forward.
For us to provide opportunities to bridge the gap between people that need experience and explain to them how they get a job is really important.
So the students are getting a chance to talk to those professionals, to learn from them about their work and about their jobs, get career ideas for the future, as well as get some hands-on experience doing this type of work.
Really appreciate you all and very proud of the work you did today.
So we ship wood all over the world.
If you look down, you can see the curvature.
So according to what grade the grader puts into it, a certain percentage of that's allowed and some of it's not. These guys got to put in this system every possible thing that we might try to lay out.
the ability to directly engage these professionals, these practitioners who are doing it every day. And so we get to learn from that experience because we know that it's irreplaceable.
When I started out at this, I was so nervous I couldn't stand it, but I truly fell in love with it. If you can fall in love with drying wood, and I did, I'm still learning every day, something new.
We try to do FIFO, first in, first out, to keep all of our stock in good condition before we put them through the mill.
And so with these industry tours, we're wanting the students to be able to see inside of these wood industries and be able to see the bigger picture of the markets for where the wood that they'll be managing as foresters might end up one day in wood products that everyone uses and are incredibly important for all of our everyday lives.
This gives me the opportunity to know that I like forestry, that I know I like timber cruising, marking, procurement, stuff like that I don't get an opportunity to do in the classroom. So I'm looking forward to seeing the other practical side of what we've learned.
And so them being able to see how that flow of material goes into these facilities and then goes from that facility to other facilities where it'll be further processed and people will be employed there working, adding value to that wood as it becomes more and more finished into a piece of furniture or cabinets, or in the case of Robinson Stave here where we're at, finished bourbon barrels.
The alcohol goes through and it comes back out, and that's where your flavor is.
There's no waste in the wood industry. It all has a place somewhere to be used.
So we're trying to use everything that we can, not waste anything. So I bring green sawdust down that goes into the boiler.
And so it's a great message to tell.
Has a lot of crook and sweep. I'm drawing a lightning bolt looking tree to the sky. You just go through the boxes and describe the tree. Hickory doesn't really have a distinct smell to it. So right here we've got an adopt tree certificate, and what it is we're picking out a tree. And so first off we draw the tree and then write a few words to describe it.
You all aren't afraid to go out in the woods, but to get the rest of our society and our younger folk and our older folk out, this would be a good, easy way to do it because it kind of maybe plays on some of the things they know. It's like a toolbox of environmental education programs and activities that they can do as outreach to kind of talk more about what they do in their jobs, that communication with landowners, with school groups, with youth. Agents are usually looking for professionals to come in and be a guest speaker. You could teach the students how to measure a height, teach them how the basics of identification, introduce them to adopt a tree, and off they go.
Pretty good tree, I like it.
Having this type of experience with Project Learning Tree gives them that opportunity to use some of those tools and help them present what they've learned, what they know, in a way that is useful and understandable by that community that they're dealing with.
I've had it happen to me when you get explained something that you never learned in school in a million years, right? But you learn practical knowledge outdoors and it feels different. It resonates differently within your mind.
Observation is always good. You know, teaching kids to hone their observation skills is always a good thing. A good opportunity for these students to take what they've been learning in school and realize how they can share it with the public, with landowners, with school groups.
But this is all you really need to heavily impact amphibians and bats to have a really positive impact. It has some coarse woody debris in it. If you look at where the egg masses are, they're not just free floating. They're attached to sticks. So if you went up to a pond and said, if you wanted to actively manage this pond, you can just throw some limbs in here and that's gonna have a positive benefit. So you're providing structure, different material for insects to use, and you'll get a flush of biodiversity out of that.
Diameter growth is a function of, the supporting function of a larger crown. So when you can give trees areas to grow larger crowns, their diameter is going to need to grow in response for mechanical support.
What we want to look at, we want to try to determine where we think the horizons are. And then we want to also do texture, color, structure.
They do a lot of group work during the semester and working teams, collecting data, writing reports, and doing some management guidelines and things like that. So it's a lot of group work and a lot of relying on your classmates to get the stuff accomplished at the end of the semester.
I knew that I wanted to work outdoors, and I didn't know exactly what that entailed.
Excited about soils?
Yes. Yes.
Our weeks down at Robinson Forest will end up probably being my longest stretch of day after day after day in hard terrain. Doesn't matter what the weather is, you go do it. So I'm really looking forward to, to just reassuring myself that I'm going to be good with that,
So our moisture regime and our temperature regime are going to have a strong influence on how that organic matter either burns off or accumulates. And in general, the drier and warmer it is, the more organic matter will burn off.
I think it will be nice to get a dose of being in the woods, to actually be put in place and to give you that experience of, is this something I could see myself doing for the next 20, 30 years?
And what do we have here? This is a burl, and so there's a good chance on the next board that we take that there'll be a knot coming out from a limb here.
And one of the things I really didn't expect was all of the limbs that had ever been on that tree are inside of that tree. And so as you start to cut boards off of it, you'll notice knots that are deeper inside the wood.
Looking at this board here, that could be a little bit challenging despite the fact there is some nice big clear cuttings.
So there's just a bunch of things that we haven't done inside the classroom that we'll be able to do hands-on outside with the field work. So I think it's going to be really crucial to our development as a professional.
The question I would ask of you is, what do you think our soils will look like in another 50 years? How will extreme weather events impact our forest soils? How will they impact the entire landscape? How will they impact our watersheds?
They're in the field all day, every day, and it really helps solidify what they've been learning in the classroom and in the labs during the past few semesters. And so, I hope they just really get a sense of what it is to be a forester, what it is to work outside, putting all the concepts that they've learned in the classroom and putting them all together, and feel, confident in their skills that they can go out and be a forester when they're done with our program.
Oh, I love it. I've never been to a class where I've never been in a program where I've loved every single class I've ever had, and this is one where I've loved everything I've ever learned.
I know what I'm doing now. I'm going to get out, I'm going to go to UK, and I'm going to go in the forestry program, and then take that and become a park ranger, game warden, forester, arborist, I don't know. And
the best parts about it, it exposes them to so many different interest areas and so many different segments of the industry, including procurement and manufacturing and all of the other subsets that come off of that. And so it really does allow them to see what they do like, what they don't like, and it gives them an opportunity to also gain an importance for something. They may not enjoy it, but they appreciate it more after seeing it.
There's just so many different tools that we've learned that I didn't think would be in this major that has expanded my knowledge, and it's really helpful as a natural resource professional, but it's taking in a bunch of different elements that I didn't expect.
It's one thing to sit in a classroom and learn, and that's an important part of it too, but to be out and learn it firsthand, and maybe even now you're applying what you've learned in the classroom, you're getting your hands dirty, it sticks, it clicks, it makes sense, and so it's something I walk away with and I remember it, and I kind of take it to heart that way, and hopefully the students, and many of them, they're in this field because they want to be out in nature. They want to be in that 3-dimension, not just sitting in front of a computer. So I think things like this program and this whole semester is perfect for them, and being able to take what they've learned and they're applying it and using it out in the field now.
Those are the things that we are building, each little piece that you have gotten this semester, plus your whole previous 2.5 years. All of those pieces are building together. And eventually, this summer maybe, and certainly after next year, you're going to be in a position to have to start helping folks make those decisions, right? But I need to know how it all works together. That's what I think is an important thing for us to do as professionals moving ahead. We've got a lot of responsibility.
Dr. Locker, that was really good.
And I want to say a special thank you to Brian Vollen with Ag Communications who put that together. And he was with them for, I think, a lot of the semester. And so we really appreciate him doing that for us.
Yeah, he did a great job with that video. He did an excellent job, and students really enjoyed it, having him out there too. So, well, I hope you enjoyed the video on the field semester, and hopefully that gave you a sense of our program and part of the hands-on nature of our program. But I want to talk to you a little bit more in detail about our Bachelor of Science in Forestry program at the University of Kentucky, and give you some information and details in case you're interested or know somebody that might be interested. Okay, so the forestry major is a professional degree program, and it's the only one in Kentucky accredited by the Society of American Foresters. So we're looking for students who share our passion for forest, wildlife, and other natural resources, and who want to learn more about how to manage the forest for future generations. So now our program is a small program at a big university. We have small classes. We have about 70 students total in our program. And so our seniors, there's about 16 of them, and juniors, about the same number as well. And, we get to know the students and really help them achieve their career goals. And, overall, our program is looking to provide this hands-on outdoor education and teaching students to grow, manage, and protect the healthy forest ecosystems. So we have kind of 4 key curriculum components. This is ecology and biology, measurement of forest resources, forest policy, economics and administration, and then silviculture and forest management. And within that, students take a variety of classes on topics from tree identification, maps, soils, hydrology, entomology, wildlife, conservation biology, forest health, forest ecology. So they take a lot of courses in training them to be a forester. And as you saw, we also have the Springfield Semester, and then students also take 9 credits of professional electives, and I'll cover that in just a minute. And then we also have a minor in wildlife biology and management, as well as a certificate in urban and community forestry. So we have some great options for students as well. Now, with our forestry program, depending on what students are interested in, they can kind of round out their knowledge of forestry and incorporate 9 credit hours of professional electives. So this is about 3 courses that focusing in on a certain topic area. So if they're interested in GIS, they might want to take some more courses on GIS, or wildlife, they may take some additional wildlife courses. Or entomology. So depending on where the students are interested, they can kind of focus their area on that. And, if they're interested, they can go beyond those 9 credit hours of professional electives and get a minor in some of these areas. Now, a lot of our students, they don't know this from day one about what they're interested in, and that's okay. It's, as you go through the forestry program, you learn about these different options and what these different kind of pairings mean, and how you might use these professional electives in your career. So this isn't something you have to decide from day one. So as you saw, our Springfield semester, that's another key component. And if you're interested, each year the students write kind of a weekly summary of what they've done, and they put some pictures in there, and then do a kind of a week by week what they learned, why it was important, and how it's going to apply for their future profession. So in addition to this classwork and the curriculum that our students have, it's important for students to get involved and make those professional connections. And so we have many opportunities throughout this fall and spring semester for students to get involved. And these are some photos that our students have had from their past visits from the Society of American Foresters National Meeting. It travels around the country, and each year our students go out there. Some of our students get to go to these meetings, and they really get to connect with forestry professionals, learn more about job opportunities and things like that. So this is a great way for students to get involved. And another way students get involved is through what we call our Forestry Club, or it's the UK student chapter of the Society of American Foresters. And that's something they bring in guest speakers, and they have a lot of activities throughout the year. And again, another way for students to get connected to forestry professionals. Kentucky Wood Expo, that just occurred recently, and our students go out and volunteer at events like the Wood Expo. Another program that I think is a great opportunity for our students is called the UK Firecats. And this is something our students, for one of their classes, they get the Wildland Firefighter Type 2 training. So once they've had that class and have that training, they can become eligible to be a UK Firecat. And what this is working with the Kentucky Division of Forestry as a paid employee, and they are considered emergency firefighters, and they work on an on-call basis on the weekends during fire season. So this is a great way for students to build their resume, get some experience on the fire line. If students want to be a professional, go into the wildland firefighting profession, they've got some great experience. If they're interested in wildlife and are going to be using prescribed fire as a tool, this again is some great experience for students. So this is a great opportunity to kind of build your resume during the fall and spring semesters. So kind of outside of the fall and spring semester at UK, we also encourage students to get involved with summer activities. And these things are going to help build your resume, gain experience. It allows people to try new things, explore new places, and kind of figure out what they want to do with their career. You have a picture here of Anna, and she worked this past summer doing some research with one of our faculty members, Dr. Sybil Gotch. And, she got to build up her research experience there. So great opportunities. We had Nick, he went down and did a wildlife field techniques course down in Itchaway, Georgia. And again, just kind of expanding his knowledge of some wildlife field techniques. Now, students can also, we encourage them to work every summer that they're in our program and get that experience. And so they can do private industry, or work with the kind of local government, state government, or federal agencies. And this is one, McCaslin, she worked at Independent Stave Company here in Kentucky this past summer. So that's just an example of, some local organizations from the private sector. Jason worked with Beaver Creek Hydrology, kind of an environmental consulting firm, doing some restoration work in kind of several of the surrounding states. Matt, he worked with JB Tree Company doing arbor work, arboriculture work out in Maryland. So that's again another opportunity. And these are things that students do during the summer to help them decide if this is the career path for them for later, once they graduate. So in addition to these private industries, people can work with the local government. So Austin, this is his second year with the Lexington Fayette Urban County government, and he did tree work with them for those 2 summers. Now, if you want to see places outside of Kentucky, there's a lot of opportunities for students as well. Each of the states have a forest agency, and Tucker went out to work with the Colorado State Forest Service. And so that's an opportunity. I know that we've had students that worked here in Kentucky with the Kentucky Division of Forestry. So again, lots of options, lots of places that students can go to learn about different parts of the country, different ecosystems, and get that hands-on experience. So in addition to the state agencies, there's also federal agencies that hire foresters. And we had several forestry students go on to work with the U.S. Forest Service. And so Vincent, he was out in Idaho. We had Aaron out in Washington, and Josh was out in Wyoming. So a lot of opportunities, a lot of great places. So whether you want to stay here in Kentucky or, travel the U.S., you can do that with a forestry degree. So kind of overall, our forestry program, we are the only SAF accredited program in Kentucky, and we're training our graduates to grow, manage, and protect forest ecosystems. So, kind of what are the next steps? If you found this presentation interesting or the video interesting, take a look at our website. Here's the website for our undergraduate program. Reach out to me, send me an email, let me know what I can do to help. I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have, or, if you want to share this information with someone else, I'm happy to help kind of connect people who love the outdoors and want to make a difference in our forest, help them get a degree in this program. So again, here's my contact information. And again, feel free to share this information with those that you may know that are interested in a forestry career. All right, and I'll go ahead and stop sharing. Didn't know if you had any questions for me or.
Thank you so much, Laura. Billy can attest to this, I would assume, because I know how I am. I'm more of a hands-on visual kind of person. And so, Billy, you going through the program, you could kind of let our viewers know, it's like, what does that actually do for the students to actually have that training out in the field?
Well, I think it gives them a sense of confidence that they might not otherwise have. If you just learn it in the classroom, that's one thing, right? And you might think you know it and you might do well on a test on it. But when you get out there and you get a chance to actually do it yourself and to have somebody show you how to do it, it really builds a lot of confidence in our students, and it really prepares them to go out and be those foresters and natural resource professionals out in society. So, I love our program. I think so much of it. Dr. Locke, you do so much for our students. You really make it easy on them. You connect them with so many opportunities and you keep them on track. And, you're just fortunate. I wish we would have had an academic coordinator when I went through the program, right? So we do a lot here at UK to try to help our students be successful. And you're like the leading tip of that spear that does that for our students here in the forestry department. So, I just want to thank you so much for all you do. I see it day in and day out, how you interact and improve our students' lives and help them get along. So folks, if you know of anybody that might be looking for a career opportunity, maybe you've got a young person in your family or something, that there's a lot of opportunities with a forestry degree. And you don't just necessarily have to work for that forest agency, right? Our students go into so many different jobs. So I can't say enough nice things about our program. It's really prepared me well, trained me, and allowed me to have a very fulfilling career.
Laura, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but is there I know there's a handful of jobs, how many jobs do we offer that could possibly people that went through our program could have apply for? Is it just off the top of your head? I'm not holding.
There's so many opportunities, whatever students are interested in, whether it's fire, arborist, or urban forestry consultant, there's so many career paths, and those titles of those occupations kind of span over through, federal government, or, you could be a forester with the federal government, you can be a forester with the private sector. And I get a lot of job announcements and I share those with our students, but I think there's a lot more announcements out there than we have students. So it's a great time to be in forestry. I think you have your pick of opportunities right now. And, I know people are looking for foresters and they want more. So the job market is good. For forestry and for our jobs. We have seniors, we have 15 or 16 and students graduating this year. So, they know where they want to go and they can get those jobs, and there's so many opportunities out there for students.
And gets a lot of hands-on training, by the way it looks. So we greatly appreciate all of your help with that.
Well, great. Well, thank you for having me on today.
Thank you, Dr. Locke. I appreciate you very much.
All right. That was really cool.
Yep.
So moving on, we are going to talk to Dr. Ellen Crocker about a habitat management symposium. Hi, Dr. Crocker. How are you?
Doing great. How are you?
Great.
So I've got an opportunity for our listeners, a really great educational experience that's coming up to learn more about habitat management. And the great thing about this conference is that it is hands-on and focused on how do we manage a broad range of different habitats. And so to talk with us a little bit more about that conference, we have Casey Bradley, who is the host of this at Kentucky State University. And she's going to tell you a little bit more about what to expect at the upcoming Habitat Management Symposium. I'm also going to share a flyer on the screen that has a QR code that you can take a picture of if you'd like to register for it.
Welcome, Casey.
Welcome, Casey. Appreciate it.
Hello. Well, thank you guys so much for having me on the show today. So my name is Casey Bradley. I work for Kentucky State University in the Forestry and Natural Resources program. And this year we're hosting the 2023 Habitat Symposium at our Kentucky State University Research and Demonstration Farm. So it's coming up in just a couple, well, I guess a week and a half now. So it's coming up really quick. In the past several years, the symposium has been virtual, but this year we are able to host it in person. We're really excited about it. We've had lots of really great partners this year. We're working with the University of Kentucky, Kentucky Department of Fish and Wildlife, Kentucky Association for Environmental Education, and Seiler Geospatial. So with all these partners, we're able to host 3 full days at the symposium. So day 1 of the symposium is mainly going to be remote sensing workshops. So basically talks where you can use remote sensing or teach you how to use remote sensing devices within forestry, wildlife management, or just any kind of natural resource settings. So we have researchers from Auburn State University, U of L, University of Kentucky, and here at Kentucky State University that are all going to be coming to talk. And then we've got some really cool hands-on drone demonstrations and some GeoSlam demonstrations. So that's going to be really hopefully useful information. And then day 2 and 3 of the symposium are habitat management days. So these are going to be like just recent conservation projects, workshops, case studies, things like that. Basically, we want to show people how to do things, maybe things that work or things that don't work, implementation-based projects that will be useful for habitat management goals. So, and we have tons of great speakers that are joining us. We have lots of great food that are going to be coming from Kentucky vendors that use locally sourced ingredients. So we're hoping it's going to be a really relaxed symposium and it's going to be super fun. And then for registration, you can click the link that's on the flyer that Dr. Crocker shared, or you can visit kaee.org. And once you're on that webpage, you can go to their events tab and you'll see a calendar. And then you visit the October 2nd date and you'll be able to register right there. So we're really excited about the symposium. We have lots of great information to share, and we're hoping that anyone who is interested will share the information and that they'll join us. So
great. Thank you so much. Hope to see you all there.
Thank you.
Well, thanks for coming on and talking about that. We appreciate that. And anytime you have any kind of conference or anything like that, just let us know, especially if it's, good for woodland owners or what have you. We'd love to promote it.
I certainly will. Thank you guys so much for giving the opportunity to let people know about the symposium. We really appreciate it.
Oh, Casey, we'll have you back.
Please do.
Now that I know who you are, I'll get you on for something.
Yes, please do. I love this stuff.
Hey, any way we can kind of serve the woodland owners and those that have an interest in our natural resources in Kentucky, we really want to with this program. So as Renee said, let us help you be successful in your work.
Great. That's great to know. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, appreciate it. Very good. Good stuff.
Good stuff. We covered a lot of ground today. And especially talking about basically where it starts for a lot of our students. And, I think it's a key thing.
It really is, Renee. One of the things I think folks can have a lot of confidence in is our students' ability when they hit that job market, right? Or if you're working with them, they have been well trained. They've been our faculty here in the department, plus our connections to our outside stakeholders across the state, really gives our students a broad understanding of forests and natural resources and how to manage and care for them. Of course, they'll have stuff to learn on the job, but they are really prepared. They are ready to meet those challenges. So I have confidence in our graduates that they can do a good job because they've certainly been technically trained and they've had that exposure. So I hope that gives landowners and others who are working with natural resource professionals some real confidence in that they can trust them and that they can rely on them to give them good guidance because they understand our forest systems and how they work and what we can do to try to make them better.
Definitely. And it's not just classroom knowledge, it's hands-on knowledge, which is definitely a plus.
Yeah, very, very important. Yeah, and then we learned about a great habitat management workshop that's coming up. It's been going on for a while and got to have a new guest on the show or two. So it was a good program, really. Thank you all for joining us today.
Mm-hmm. If you have any ideas for a show, we're always looking for show topics because, you know, we do one almost every week. So if you go to fromthewoodstoday.com, we have a little survey there that you can fill out and send us your ideas. You can even send us something that you saw in the woods and you're like, ooh, what is this? And then we'll try to figure out what that is for you and let you know. But we greatly appreciate you all joining us each week because, you know, we couldn't be here without you.
Yep, no doubt. And we do appreciate y'all being with us. And Renee, we did have one little question sneak in at the last second. Somebody was asking about cutting down a sawtooth oak. So sawtooth oak is not necessarily native to this area, but it's often planted because of its fast ability to put on acorns. It's one of the trees that can really grow really quickly. One of our oak species that grow really quickly and can put on acorns for, you know, wildlife food. Typically, we don't recommend planting that species. So, you know, without knowing all the conditions around this, typically it's something we don't kind of recommend because of those reasons. It can it's not native to here and it can cause some little problems with some of our other native species. So typically we will say you can get rid of that.
All right, sounds good.
All right, folks. Thank you all again for
Thank
being
you all, and we will see you next Wednesday at 11. Take care.
Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.
From the woods today.